It was a peaceful morning in the small town of Willowridge. Damon, the town's laziest knight, lay sprawled across a bench in the market square, chewing on an apple he hadn't paid for. He lived off the generosity of the townsfolk, who begrudgingly shared scraps and leftovers, believing it was better than seeing him starve. His armor, more ornamental than functional, had long lost its shine. Damon's reputation as a knight was a running joke in Willowridge. "Why work when the world keeps spinning regardless?" he often said, brushing off complaints about his idleness. But that day, the town elders summoned Damon to the meeting hall. A dragon had been sighted in the nearby mountains, and its presence threatened the town's livestock and safety. The elders, desperate for a solution, decided Damon should confront the beast. "But why me?" Damon asked, feigning offense. "Surely, there are braver souls around." "You wear the armor and claim the title of a knight," replied Elder Meredith sternly. "This is your duty." After much persuasion, and the promise of a year's worth of free meals, Damon begrudgingly agreed. Armed with a rusty sword and an indifferent attitude, he set out toward the dragon's lair, muttering complaints under his breath. The journey to the mountains was uneventful, save for Damon's constant grumbling about the effort required. When he finally reached the lair, he was surprised by its modest appearance, a wide cave mouth surrounded by wildflowers, with no sign of smoke or fire. As he stepped inside, Damon's heart raced. He had hoped the dragon was a myth, but the sight before him confirmed otherwise. The dragon was massive, with shimmering emerald scales and piercing golden eyes. But instead of attacking, it regarded Damon with a mix of curiosity and amusement. "Another night," the dragon rumbled, its voice deep and melodic. "I haven't had visitors in decades. What do you seek, little one?" Damon cleared his throat, struggling to maintain his composure. "I was sent here to defeat you," he said, gripping his sword nervously. The dragon chuckled, a sound that echoed through the cave. "Defeat me? And how do you plan to do that?" Damon hesitated. "Well, I don't really have a plan," he admitted. "But if I don't return with good news, the town will stop feeding me." The dragon's laughter grew louder. "Honesty. How refreshing," it said. "I'll make you a deal, knight. Prove yourself useful, and I'll reward you. Fail, and you'll leave empty-handed." "Agreed." Damon nodded, more out of fear than agreement. "What do you need me to do?" The dragon tasked Damon with helping organize its treasure hoard, a task it found tedious. The cave was filled with piles of gold coins, jewels, and artifacts, haphazardly strewn about. Damon spent hours sorting the treasure into neat stacks, grumbling all the while. Despite his reluctance, He worked diligently, motivated by the promise of a reward. By evening, the hoard was immaculate. The dragon inspected Damon's work and nodded approvingly. "You've done well," it said. "For your effort, you may choose one item from my collection. But choose wisely." Damon's eyes scanned the glittering hoard, settling on a small, unassuming chest. "What's in that?" he asked. The dragon's eyes twinkled. "Ah, the chest of prosperity. It ensures that you and those around you will never go hungry. But remember, its magic depends on how you use it." Damon took the chest and thanked the dragon. As he turned to leave, the dragon added, "Remember, true wealth lies not in gold, but in how it's shared." When Damon returned to Willowridge, he was met with skeptical gazes. The townsfolk gathered as he opened the chest of prosperity. To their amazement, it produced fresh bread, ripe fruits, and other foods in abundance. Damon, delighted by the chest's magic, began sharing its bounty with the town. Over time, Damon's reputation transformed. No longer the lazy knight, he became known as the town's provider. He used the chest's gifts wisely, ensuring everyone had enough to eat. Willowridge flourished, and the people's gratitude warmed Damon's heart. But one day, a stranger arrived, hearing rumors of the magical chest. Greedy and cunning, the stranger tried to steal it. Damon, though still reluctant to fight, defended the chest with surprising courage. The struggle ended with the stranger fleeing, and the town's respect for Damon grew even more. Years later, Damon returned to the dragon's lair to express his gratitude. The dragon, now older but no less majestic, welcomed him. "You've done well, knight," the dragon said. "You've learned the true meaning of wealth." "I have," Damon replied, "and I owe it all to you." The dragon smiled. "Perhaps. But remember, the magic was only as good as the heart that wielded it." Damon returned to Willowridge, where he continued to care for his people, his days of idleness long behind him. The chest of prosperity remained a symbol of unity and generosity, and Damon's legacy endured for generations. If you enjoy the story, please like, subscribe and share.